Jana, we are joined here by a martini. It may be a martini or it might not be.
Who knows?
It's maybe just some bubbly in here, but everything looks better in a martini glass. So Jana, what are we talking about with mental health and nutrition today on?
Oh, today we're diving into a common question that's been coming up. So lately, when we've been in collaboration with clinicians, one of the biggest things we're getting asked is what kinds of things do we ask? So when we have a client coming in who hasn't stated maybe they do say that food's a bit of an issue, but maybe they haven't. Lots of the clinicians are asking us, okay, so what kinds of questions do I actually ask about food? And when is it a problem?
Okay, I
So
know.
what kinds of questions
What
do we
kinds of
ask?
questions that you might sort of probe about throughout your work is to really think about like the frequency of eating. So, are they coming to your counseling session actually fueled? Because if they're not, then we don't have a working brain for therapy. So frequency of how often throughout the day they're eating. What's another one, Jana?
That's fair. So another one that comes up a lot is, are there any foods that they don't eat? Are there any things that they're avoiding for one reason or another? So we often practice thinking about the three types of restriction that can show up. So we know that there can be food timing restriction. So maybe they don't want to eat after 6 o'clock, or they don't want to, eat until noon, whether it's intermittent fasting or just a general restricted rule. It might be the food type restriction. So we'll have people come in and say, the good food, bad food. I don't eat that because it's bad for me. Or they'll say, I don't eat animal products, or I will never eat something with sugar. Carbohydrates, yes.
Be a
That's a
very,
big
very
one.
common one for sure.
Big time.
Food's just higher in fats and
Yeah,
higher in calories can be kind of tricky for some people.
for sure. So we have that, or we have the food volume. So then we start to think about our macro counters and our calorie trackers. So we have the three different types of restriction, and they're not, by themselves, they may not be harmful, but we want to get curious as to why we're restricting. I always ask people, it's like, okay, well, if you never eat fast food, but what if you're hungry and it's an absolute last resort? Would you still not feed yourself, and why? So that's when it can get a bit tricky. So we explore that. And then another big question, situations.
Situations where food can get a little harder. So that might be, in our experience, socially, or eating around certain people, or eating on a date, or at school, at work, in front of people versus on their own. So situations can be a little tricky. The other situation to check in on is, what are the people that they're eating with at home actually looking like as well? So they have a parent or a spouse that's chronic dieting or restricting certain things or talking about food a lot, that can create some issues as well.
Absolutely. And I always think of that, it's been a big issue with a lot of my clients eating at school. And I think, again, it's a bit of that who's around and what's the pressure of that situation for sure.
So Jenna, like, when is it a problem? Like, you're a clinician, you're a therapist, you're in a session and you're thinking like, I'm not a dietitian. Like, how would I know if this is even a problem or not?
I mean, the way we always approach it is when it's getting in the way of you living the healthiest life you could honestly enjoy, right? So I like to think of someone who's just thinking about food too much. That decision making about what to eat and when to eat, is it taking up too much of your cognitive space? Yeah. Stressing them out for sure. And we think about it around here at Health Stand, it's our whole theory is to live fully. And so do you want to dive into our living fully?
Living fully, this is the only thing I know how to teach people. For like 25 years now, we've been practicing. So when we talk about eating fully, it's that healthful and that soulful connection together. One without the other gets people into trouble. So healthful eating is, of course, those nerdy, nutritious meals that, of course, people expect dietitians to be talking about. Getting enough food, carbs, proteins, fats, vitamins, hydration, all that good stuff. The other side of that equation about eating fully, though, is eating soulfully. So we talk about what foods spark joy, and can you go on date night or eat with friends and have the chocolate chip cookie and the potato chips and the foods that make your taste buds sing. We want to have balance, that you're enjoying all aspects of those foods.
Beautiful. So our big ask for you is to just ask yourself these questions, right? So thinking about, how often do I eat? How often do my clients eat? Are there any foods that I don't eat and why, right? If you're allergic to it, please don't force yourself to eat it. That's okay. But are there situations where food gets harder? So just really bringing this sense of curiosity for yourself, but also for your clients. I think you may find you learn a lot.
Guess that's another edition of the Jana and Andrea discussion on nutrition and mental health. Thanks for joining us.